What's up, guys? I hope everybody had a great day today and you're feeling relaxed and refreshed and getting ready for bed. So, I had a very interesting encounter with a youngster this afternoon. I went to the supermarket and I was going through the aisles and I was looking for something. At a point in time, I didn't even remember what I wanted. But anyway, I was walking along. And when I came around the corner to get into another aisle, a youngster looked up at me and he said, "Where is your hair?" And I said, "I shaved it off." "Why did you shave it off?" I said, "Because I didn't want it anymore, I don't think." "But why?" So I said, well, my daughter was standing at the dresser and she was contemplating whether or not she should remove the braids from her hair. And she had a pair of scissors in her hand and she couldn't make up her mind. So I just took it out of her hand and I just shaved my head. And he said to me, "But I thought that girls needed to have their hair." So I said, "Yes, girls need to have their hair, but I'm a different kind of girl." And he asked me something else and I answered and he seemed satisfied. And then he said, "Okay." And he walked away. But then a gentleman was standing a little distance off with his cart waiting. And I just figured it must have been his father. So I said to him, "Is that your youngster?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Thank you so much for answering him, because people tend to be very annoyed when children, ask questions and stuff like that." And he said he's glad I answered because his son wouldn't stop asking him questions and he wouldn't be able to give him an answer because he doesn't know why I shaved my head. So I was saying to him, I understand perfectly because I had two, they're adults now, but they were just out of this world. They'd ask the questions as it came to mind, and you had to answer. My son, especially, if he asked a question and he went away and he didn't come back, it means he understood exactly what he told him. But if after he went and he processed it and he wasn't sure, as young as he would come back and he'd ask the question again, and it means he never understood. When you're done with him, he's supposed to be able to explain to anybody who would ask him a similar question or the same question. He'd be able to explain it to them. He had a very complex mind. He's a deep thinker. So, he'd come up with all sorts of things, and you would have to be ready for him when he asks a question, because he asks questions out of the ordinary, and sometimes it would blow your mind. But I spoke with the gentleman and I told him I never had any problem with the youngster asking me questions because, as I said before, my children. And I was saying to him, and can you imagine if he saw the hole in the back of my head? He would want to know why. So I was just explaining to the gentleman about the hole in the back of my head. I told him it I have been wearing my head bald for the last 8 years, but 2 years ago, it might have been before that because it was discovered 2 years ago. So I developed a very rare cancer and I had to have surgery and stuff like that. And as relating to him, how people ask me if I'm not going to do the cosmetic surgery or wear a wig and stuff like that. And I said no in both instances because, I'm not hiding anything and I'm comfortable with me, with my bald head. And now with the hole in the back of my head, I'm very comfortable. I'm quite fine. It doesn't matter what anybody wants to think. I always say when I pass by you, if you look back and think I'm a freak, it's your business. So I was just seizing the opportunity to tell him how grateful I am to God for his goodness and his mercy and his loving kindness and his never-ending love toward me, undeserving as I am, because I know that it is because of God's mercies and his goodness I am still here, and I am deeply grateful for that. And so I seized the opportunity to share with him how I felt and stuff like that. And he was very glad that I shared with him, and he said, "Oh boy, I'm so glad you spoke with me." He said, "Anywhere I see you again, I will say hi to you." He told me his name, and I promptly forgot his name. So if I see the gentleman again and I see a gentleman calling to me, perhaps I will figure, is he that I was talking to in the supermarket? Yeah, so it's one of those things. What if we were as honest as children are? Because, they speak their minds. And I'm thinking that fights would break out every day, every moment, if we were as honest as children are, because they speak their minds. They ask the questions that come to mind. And they don't take things personally. And they don't usually bear grudges. But as adults, if somebody asks a question, we get uptight and he's rude, he shouldn't have asked me that, or she's too nosy, she shouldn't have asked that, or that kind of thing. And sometimes it's purely out of innocence or just curiosity. Somebody might ask you a question. But I guess as we grow older and mature, we become more aware, and we do not want to make ourselves vulnerable. So there are questions that people might ask and we think that they shouldn't ask, and we get upset and we're ready to fight and quarrel and complain and stuff like that, because really and truly that is how we are as humans. But the Bible did say that we will enter the kingdom if we are like little children who are so ready to forgive and ready to move on, not bearing a grudge, that kind of thing. It's unfortunate that nowadays sometimes youngsters can be very cruel, but for the most part, even as a child when I was growing up, we used to say we're keeping malice and we want to see who can hold it the longest, and by the end of the day or the end of the week, everybody become friends again. We don't even remember what we're quarreling about or why we're not going to talk to somebody, that kind of thing. And I think it would be a good thing if we really as adults were like children in that instance, that we just we're just honest with each other, and perhaps willing, not all the time, I'm not saying, and not in all circumstances, but willing to sometimes make ourselves vulnerable, and for others to see that we're humans and that we have feelings and we have emotions and we're not scared to share them. So that youngster that spoke with me this evening, I just told him what was going on. He couldn't be more than about 9, between 8 and 9 years old. I'm not even so sure I know how to judge ages and again, because I think I'm caught in a time warp. But between 7 and 9, I think. And he just asked away. And his father said he's like that, and I appreciated it. I never had any problems with it. But yes, let's try to be honest when we can, as much as possible. And sometimes don't take things too personally. I'm saying it because we would live better lives if we didn't, but it is not as easily done as said, because sometimes, maybe because of our background or an experience that we've had or whatever it is, somebody says something and it just hits us the wrong way and we get really riled up and all of that. But for the most part, let's just be honest with ourselves and let us try to live well with others and not be upset sometimes when things are said in a manner that we didn't think it should be said. So I just thought I'd share that with you, and I trust that you'll have a good one, and I look forward to seeing you soon. So remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment if you will, and I'll talk to you again soon. Have a good one. Bye.